Yo, guys, the only time you're doing fitness wrong is if you're following a plan that you don't enjoy, really. If it's taken away from your life instead of adding to your life, you're doing it wrong. Because we're in 2025 now, there's enough established strategies and approaches for you to find something that adds to your life, gives you energy, you enjoy the process, doesn't take up too much time. I came from a physique development and bodybuilding background, and I did that for like first 3 years that I trained, and then I just needed something different. I just didn't think it. I didn't really align with it. I was just finding it too fucking boring. It was a bit repetitive, and I wanted something else. I wanted something that was going to serve me better. And at the time, I didn't really have much different training goals. I wasn't really thinking in terms of I want to like really be hybrid. I just wanted a different approach, and that's when I kind of went down this route. And then that's obviously how the brand got started, and that's the position a lot of the lads actually join the team from, like getting fed up with the bodybuilding and the physique development lifestyle. And I'm not here to fully shit on it. It's great for bodybuilding and physique development, but for most people, they just don't need to be training that way. So the first thing that I want to do is look at the issues and the solutions in very, very brief format, just to kind of set the precedent for the later slides. So the top three things that I hear and I've experienced myself: bodybuilding is too repetitive and boring. Same workouts, same cardio, limited variance, kind of feeling a little bit robotic. Solution for this, guys, is adding in as much variance as we possibly can on the strength side and the cardio and conditioning side, while still hitting the minimum requirements needed for progression. So I'll cover this in more depth in a second, but for example, progressive overload still must be applied. We need to make sure that is still part of the training setup. It won't work without that, but there's a few ways that we can kind of manipulate it. So enjoyment and flexibility within sessions for variance, for enjoyment, absolutely key. Secondly, it's too restrictive in terms of lifestyle. Now, if you don't wish to compete, it is unnecessary to live a bodybuilding lifestyle, because you have to sacrifice a lot and you have to be quite robotic to then not step on stage. You have to sacrifice the same as what a bodybuilder is sacrificing to not step on stage and not get paid for doing it. Doesn't make sense, right? Especially not when you're working a 9 to 5, you run a business, you're looking after the family. It's just silly for a lot of people. So we need to basically educate and turn you into someone that has complete social freedom. So you never feel tied down or restricted or a prisoner to your fitness plan. Now, when I say fitness plan, this restriction issue is 99% nutritional, which I'll cover in the next slide. And the final issue is looking good but feeling shit. So when you look your best in bodybuilding, often you feel your worst because food's very low, you've been dieting for a long time, and there's a lot of body dysmorphia that goes on at this time as well, where you don't even feel lean, and then you look back like a year on from the pictures and you were like, I can remember not feeling lean at this moment when this picture was took, but now I'm looking back, I was absolutely fucking dick skin shredded, and it's a proper head fuck. But what we need to do is focus on looking good but feeling even better. And I'm going to cover this in depth in a later slide, but it's not just about doing cardio and cardiovascular health. There is a strategy and a methodology to this, to feeling better. So, solving the restriction issue from a nutritional standpoint. Now, short term, what we need to do is include as much flexibility as we can within day-to-day eating, whilst meeting the minimum requirements needed for progression, which is hitting macronutrients and calorie targets. That is just a non-negotiable. That must be done, otherwise you will not progress. But the way in which we hit the macros and the calories, we have some options. So we can either flexible diet completely, where you just have the macro and the calorie target and then you're just tracking food, or you can kind of go in the middle, which is what I've done for a long time, and it's actually what I still do now, where I have my macros and I've refined my flexible dieting skills now where I can do it without even tracking pretty much. I can just do it on eyes. Like I've made that many meal plans in the past. I can just do it off the top of my head. But I kind of go in the middle where I create for the macros and calorie target that I have. I create a meal plan so that I can just every day. It's just like clockwork, especially when I'm so busy and I'm trying to focus on doing work and business and serving clients, making content and all that. It gives me so much efficiency to just have meals either prepped or knowing exactly what I need to cook rather than trying to figure it all out. But if I need to be flexible, I can do that, right? Like my brother has come here from Dubai, he's visiting me in Bali, so we're going to be eating out a lot this week. So I just factor that in. It's very, very easy to do. I don't have to miss out on quality time with my bro. We can go to some nice restaurants, enjoy some nice food, and I'm fully on track. So you have that flexibility all the time, and I don't even choose to use it all the time. That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to highlight, right? It's just having the option. So I never feel like a prisoner to my nutritional strategy, but I know at all times I'm fully on point and I am maximizing my progress. We also need to become a master of social occasions or off-plan management. Just again, so we're not feeling restricted. It kind of ties into what I was saying there about going and eating out while my brother's here. And then long term, what we need to do, yes, master the flexible dieting, and don't underestimate that, like master it. Absolutely fucking master it. You want to essentially get to the point where you can intuitively eat. The only way in which you do that is by tracking for so long, where you fully understand macros and you just get it all. So even if you get to the point where you can't track, or maybe you don't want to track, you can do that very easily. But that is a very long-term goal, right? That's probably years. But we want to build nutritional leverage, and this is not something that a lot of people, like not even coaches, people talk about. So my aim, and this is a personal aim, but also with clients, is to basically turn them into a furnace from a metabolic standpoint. So there is a point with food and calories where it will kind of tip over the edge, and like people are just going to gain weight no matter how much kind of expenditure they're doing. Kind of, right? It's not a black and white statement. That's kind of how it works. But what people do and where they go wrong is they keep the food so low for such a long period of time, and they just stay at maintenance calories. They never really build any nutritional leverage. So like, I'll just give you a very quick example of what I mean by this, of someone that isn't building any nutritional leverage at all and why it's a detriment. So if they get to like, let's say maintenance is 2,000 calories, then they want to do a fat loss phase because they're skinny fat and they don't like how they look. So they drop the food down to like 1,600 calories or whatever they need to do just to see the scale weight coming down. And then they do it and they don't really get fully lean. They don't really finish the job because they don't know what they're doing. They don't have the education or the knowledge and how to set up macronutrients and training and expenditure and all the basics really. And then they kind of get to the point where they can't run it anymore because they feel so low and so empty, but they haven't really completed the job. So they're still carrying the body fat that they were trying to get off. And maybe they've lost a little bit, but they've still got it on there. And then they put the food back up, and then they get to like 2,000 calories, and then weight starts going up because they don't know how to reintroduce food properly into their daily consumption. They get back to 2,000 calories, and the weight is back up, and then they're thinking, oh, well, I don't want to push food any higher. And then that's the cycle that they're just stuck in forever. So what you want to do is, with a reverse diet and with being smart about how you're approaching nutrition over like a longer term basis, over a year, is build up your food to the point where your new maintenance calories are way higher, like 3,000 calories. Performance in the gym's better, recovery is better, balancing social occasions is far easier because you're playing with more food on a day-to-day basis. That is so incredibly high leverage in terms of performance recovery and social sustainability. So that is absolutely what you must do to solve restriction when it comes to nutrition alone. From a training standpoint, there are certain requirements that need to be met from a physique development standpoint. And this is where we just take the pros of bodybuilding, because like I've always said, right, if you want financial mastery, look at a billionaire. I'm not saying you want to be a billionaire, but look at a billionaire because he's got the most money, right? So if you want to know how to build the most muscle, Look at the guys who have got the most muscle, which is bodybuilders. So we take all of the pros from that, and then we kind of mold it and adapt to what you want to do now with like being a little bit more hybrid. So we take the pros of bodybuilding, we go 3 to 4 strength or hypertrophy per week, keep the training intensity very high, and then we progressively overload still. We must do that, otherwise we don't get stronger and we don't get bigger. Now, in terms of variance on this side, there's a couple of different things that you can do. The main one is the full rotation of exercises. I would say every 8 weeks minimum. I would say 12. Run something for 12 weeks, get strong at the movements, then you can rotate what you're doing. But you can do like 8. I've done this in the past. I actually do it on my tier 1 coaching program, the hybrid blueprint. The guys get a refresh every 8 weeks just to keep it interesting. It's not really a detriment, right? As long as you're in there training hard, it's fine. But you do want to apply progressive overload over at least 8 weeks. From the cardio and conditioning side, this is where we can add in a lot more variance and optimize for enjoyment. So the typical kind of, again, minimum requirements for being hybrid, and this is my minimum requirements. I'm not saying this is like the industry standard. What is hybrid at the end of the day? You know, you can't really define it. But this has kind of always been my thought process with programming for clients. And it's kind of what we use on tier 1, the hybrid blueprint. 60 minutes of zone 2, zone 3. 20 minutes of high intensity interval training, 10K steps daily. Now this is minimum. You can add to this, right? But 60 minute zone 2, zone 3, that could be running, biking, rowing, swimming, playing sports. So I've got a lot of guys right now that play a lot of paddle, they play 5-a-side, they play 11-a-side, they're training 2 times a week. That covers it, right? And this is how you make it very sustainable and you make it enjoyable as well. Now, that's always a minimum guideline. So I know a lot of guys on the or in the team, I give them 60 minutes and they just love running. So they'll get out and they'll do 90 or they'll do 120. Happy days. With the HIIT, there's many different things we can do. We can do different kind of sessions. So we can do like erg intervals, which could be ski erg, row erg, assault bike, bike erg. There's variance within that. And then within each of those pieces of equipment, there's endless workouts, structures you could do. So there's a lot of variance in that. You could do metcons, custom metcons based on the equipment that you have. You could do high rocks workouts. You could even do speed workouts on the treadmill. Like, there's just so much you could do. So on a week to week basis, you could switch this up all the fucking time. This is like more like 8 to 12 weeks. You're going to rotate the exercises. But that's how we get or solve the boring problem of training or not being too repetitive, essentially. And then we come to feeling your best, looking good but feeling even better. So we look at this from 2 points of view. So the body, we still want to look good. That's why everybody trains, right? It's not a vanity thing. Why wouldn't you want to look better, right? Everyone wants to look better than they already do. You should be happy with how you look, but you should want to or strive to look better. So that's where the physique development comes in. That's why it's so important. And then the body composition that we address through the nutrition strategy and optimizing macros for fat loss to begin with, and then pushing food up higher. And then also the feeling. And this is where the cardio really does its magic. So varied cardio intensities give us different things. So the lower, slower aerobic zone 2, zone 3 is an opportunity to get the heart rate up for an extended period of time, which people don't really do, and it feels absolutely fucking incredible. If you go out for a morning run and there's no cars about and the sun's just rising, maybe you've got some tunes playing in your headphones. I actually recommend for a lot of people, just do it with no noise, see what comes up in your mind. You just feel this intense peace, and the feeling after when you finish a session is absolutely second to none. It's incredible. But also the higher intensity stuff as well is like full, completely mind empty, and that's how I like to think about it, because you can get this with the zone 2, zone 3 lower stuff as well, but like the higher intensity stuff, you're in such a hole and your heart rate is so fucking high and you're redlining, you're sweating your ass off, you're not thinking about fucking anything. Like, all of your troubles and worries and things that you're stressing about are just gone for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long you're doing the session. And you also connect your mind with your body here as well. So some of my best business ideas have always come from long runs. where I'm just like, it's almost like a flow state. And the more you get into that state of mind, the more you can access it when you're not doing cardio as well. Now, from a business perspective and productivity and efficiency, that is just like priceless, absolutely priceless. And then looking at the other side with the mind, you must understand this. People turn up to the gym to create external change. That is 90% or 99% even of the kind of the why, or the reason why people turn up to the gym. To create external change, how they look, build muscle, drop body fat. But it's nothing without internal change. It's absolutely nothing. So think about it this way. Why do you want to change the external? Because you don't like how you look. For some people, they hate how they look. For some people, they just want to look a little bit better, right? But why they want to do that is because of how they feel about how they look, and feeling is internal. So the real root cause of you turning up to the gym and kind of living this lifestyle and training and looking after what you eat is actually how you feel, and it's how you feel about yourself, and it's what's going on internally. So we need to focus on how we feel internally. We need to create internal change. We need a habit system for daily growth, which is why we have the FP7 habit system mentioned in a lot of other videos if you've watched the other YouTube videos. For daily growth, okay, because personal growth is the most important task for absolutely every single human being on earth. Personal growth, very, very important. Daily alignment and reflection practice, alignment done in the morning, reminding yourself every single day before the day starts, taking some time just to get some clarity, remind yourself of the goal, who you're trying to become, what you want to change about yourself, everything you're happy with currently in your life. What do you want to attract? Do you want to attract wealth? Do you want to attract health, better relationships? What are you working so hard towards? Sets the precedent for the day, and then dictates your energy for the day. And then reflection in the evening. So grasping the lessons or grabbing the lessons from each day, because there are lessons in every day, whether you had a good day, bad day, boring day, best day ever. There's always lessons. If you can capture those lessons, you move so much quicker through life. And then showing gratitude in both of those moments, because there is always so much to be grateful about, puts you in a good energetic state. And then also install a positive belief system and image of self. This is rewriting your inner script. You will have heard me say this before. It's in my Instagram bio. Build the body, rewire the mind, become the man your future requires. You can't build the body without rewiring the mind. That's like the engine on your car being fucked, and then you just focusing on what colour you're painting it, but the car doesn't even move, right? You need to focus on what is happening internally and really give that focus. Now remember this, it's kind of the overarching principle of the whole video. Fitness is just a tool. What we're trying to do is use it to step into the highest version of self. The highest version, or the maximizing your potential as a human being, as an individual. So we're trying to use it to look good, to feel great, and to think positively. The training and nutrition system that we follow must create energy instead of sap energy. Now, I've done Ironmans, marathons, high roxes. I know what it's like to have a training program that just saps your energy, because it's so intense and it's so relentless, and the volume's so high and the intensity is so high. And then the impact of that on work and coming and trying to run my business, it's not good. Now, if you want to be great, if you want to push the boundaries of what you're capable of physically and mentally, then you've just got to fucking suck that shit up. If you want to do an ultra marathon, it's going to be fucking tough to balance it alongside doing a 9 to 5 and doing everything else that you're trying to do. But you will come out a far better person, and it will be worth it. But my point is, you can't train that way all of the time. So you need a system that creates energy. I've been to the gym this morning. Well, I did my, woke up, did my alignment, did my morning calibration process, did some studying, did a little mini work block, ate meal one, went to the gym, came back. The way that I've trained today, doing a push workout and doing some low, slow cardio, 30-minute zone 2, zone 3 for me today, I've come back and I've got more energy. You know, I don't feel sapped. I feel more energized. And then sat down, I've created this video, I've done all my client check-ins. So that's what you need from a training standpoint. And then also we need to improve confidence and image of self as well. That is kind of, you know, no one really says this, but that is why everybody is going to the gym. So it needs actual direct attention. Now, I've actually put this together, guys, in a Google document. into a free 4-week plan. So all of this kind of framework, if you can hear a chicken, then I apologise, because the villa next door here in Bali, they've got fucking 3 or 4 chickens, cockerels, whatever they are, and they seem to be in my garden more than they're in theirs. So I've been chasing them around with a frying pan and oil, trying to scare them off, but they're getting a bit ballsy. So I don't know if this mic doesn't even pick it up, then I just sound like a fucking idiot right now, but there are chickens going nuts right now. Take my word for it. I've completely forgot where I am. I put this free 4-week plan together in a Google document so I can send you a link to it. And it's this exact blueprint with exact workouts. Fucking hell. It's the exact workouts and the exact framework here. So the cardio conditioning, these minimum requirements with HIIT workouts, with the options for zone 2, zone 3, with a push-pull lower upper split already detailed out. And and also these processes here, the habit system, the daily alignment and reflection practice as well. And actually a checklist for you to monitor your habit system, to track your habits over the 4-week period. If you want that, guys, there's a WhatsApp link below. Send me a message saying 4-week plan, and I will send you over a PDF version of that document that you can follow for the next 4 weeks. Appreciate you watching. Look forward to hearing from you. Hopefully you got some value from this video and you've realized you don't need to train like a bodybuilder anymore.